I never thought a single night could unravel everything I thought I knew about my marriage. My name is Isabel, and at 41, I believed the fire between my husband Thomas and me had settled into a comforting ember, until he led me into a shadowy, ancient room where secrets hung heavy in the air. Surrounded by strangers whose touches ignited something forbidden within me, I felt my heart race with a mix of guilt and exhilaration, while Thomas watched with an unreadable gaze. What did he see in me that night? And what does it mean for the life we've built over 18 years? Stick around, because the truth is more shocking than I ever could have imagined. Picture this: a single, flickering candle on a windowsill, casting long shadows across a room that's too quiet, too still. That's where I find myself most evenings now, staring at the flame as if it holds answers I can't quite grasp. My name is Isabel, and I'm 41, a woman who's lived a life of love and dreams, though some of those dreams have softened with time. My husband, Thomas, is 43, and we've been bound together for nearly 18 years. We were just kids in our early 20s when we met. Wild, reckless, with hearts that beat so fiercely for each other, it felt like the world could stop and we wouldn't notice. Back then, every touch was electric, every whispered word a promise of forever. But time, as it does, has smoothed those sharp edges. The fire that once roared between us hasn't gone out, not completely, but it's more of a gentle glow now, a comforting warmth rather than a consuming blaze. Our life together is a quiet one, nestled in a cozy suburban home with ivy creeping up the brick walls and a small garden I tend to when I'm restless. Every morning, Thomas still presses a soft kiss to my forehead before he heads out, a ritual that's as much a part of me as breathing. We share dinners at our worn oak table, the murmur of the TV in the background filling the silences that have grown between us. It's not that we don't love each other. God, no. I see it in the way he looks at me sometimes, those hazel eyes still holding a piece of the man who once couldn't keep his hands off me. And I feel it in myself, in the way my heart aches to be near him, even when we're just sitting side by side on the couch. But that raw, desperate need, the kind that used to have us tangled up in each other, losing track of time and place, it's faded into something predictable, something safe. Lately, though, I've noticed a change in Thomas. There's a distance in his gaze, a searching look that I can't quite pin down. It's as if he's looking past me, or maybe through me, chasing something he can't name. I catch him staring out the window sometimes, his brow furrowed, lost in thoughts he doesn't share. It unsettles me, not because I doubt his love, but because I don't know how to reach him in those moments. And if I'm honest, I've felt a restlessness of my own stirring beneath the surface. There's a yearning in me, a quiet ache for something to shatter the monotony of our days. I don't know what it is. Maybe a spark, a challenge, a reason to feel alive again in a way I haven't in years. I haven't told Thomas about this feeling. Not yet. How do you confess to the person you love most that you're craving something more, even if you can't define what that more? It's a Friday evening, the kind that usually slips by unnoticed, and I'm standing at the sink, the warm, soapy water gliding over my hands as I scrub the last of the dinner plates. The clink of ceramic against ceramic is the only sound in our quiet kitchen, the faint hum of the refrigerator a steady backdrop. I'm lost in the rhythm of it, my mind wandering to nowhere in particular, when I hear Thomas's footsteps behind me. They're deliberate, heavier than usual, and I feel a prickle of awareness before I even turn around. When I do, he's standing there in the doorway, his frame filling the space, his hazel eyes locked on me with an intensity I haven't seen in ages. There's something different about him tonight, a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface, and my heart gives a little stutter, caught off guard. "Isabel," he says, his voice low, almost a murmur, but it carries a weight that makes me pause mid-motion, a dish still in my hands. Finish up here and go get dressed. Something elegant. That black dress, the one you haven't worn in years. Trust me on this. I've got a surprise for you." His words hang in the air, and I blink at him, the sponge slipping from my fingers into the sink. A surprise? Thomas isn't the spontaneous type, not anymore. We've settled into patterns, predictable as the seasons, so this, whatever this is, feels like a jolt of electricity through the mundane. I open my mouth to ask questions, but he just shakes his head, a small, secretive smile tugging at his lips. "Just trust me," he repeats. And then he's gone, leaving me standing there with suds dripping down my wrists and a strange mix of excitement and confusion swirling in my chest. I finish the dishes in a daze, my mind racing with possibilities, and then I head upstairs to our bedroom. The black dress he mentioned is buried at the back of my closet, a relic from a time when nights out meant dancing until dawn and stolen moments in dimly lit corners. I pull it out, the fabric cool and smooth under my fingers, and as I slip it on, it's like stepping into a memory. The way it clings to my curves, accentuating every line, reminds me of a younger, bolder version of myself. A woman who laughed louder, loved fiercer, and wasn't afraid to chase the thrill of the unknown. I catch my reflection in the mirror, the deep neckline, and the way the hem skims just above my knees, stirring something in me, a flicker of that old fire. My pulse quickens as I smooth my hands over the material, wondering what Thomas has planned, what could possibly warrant pulling this part of me out of the past. When I come downstairs, he's waiting by the door, dressed in a dark suit that makes him look sharper, more commanding than I've seen in a long time. His eyes linger on me, taking in the dress, and there's a flicker of something raw in his gaze, a hunger that sends a shiver through me. Without a word, he offers his arm, and I take it, feeling the warmth of him through the fabric of his suit. We step out into the cool night air, the world beyond our quiet street buzzing with unseen possibilities. My heart is pounding as we drive in silence, the city lights blurring past us, until we pull up to an old, imposing building I've never seen before. It looms like a shadow against the sky, all dark stone and narrow windows, the kind of place that holds secrets in its walls. Thomas doesn't explain, just leads me up the cracked stone steps, his hand firm on mine, guiding me with a purpose I can't yet understand. We stop at a heavy wooden door, the kind that looks like it's guarded 1,000 mysteries. My breath catches as Thomas pushes it open, the hinges groaning like a whisper of warning. I step inside, and the air shifts, heavy with the scent of melted wax and ancient wood, pressing against my skin like a living thing. The room beyond is dimly lit, candlelight dancing across the walls, casting long, wavering shadows that seem to move on their own. My eyes adjust slowly, and then I see them. 7 men, standing in a loose semicircle, their presence filling the space with an unspoken weight. They vary in height, from one who towers like a statue carved from darkness to another who's lean and wiry, almost predatory in his stillness. Their postures are confident, shoulders squared, yet they're eerily silent, as if they've been waiting just for me. The flickering light obscures their faces, but I catch the glint of their eyes, sharp and intent, watching me with a focus that makes my pulse race. They're dressed in dark suits, tailored and precise, like figures pulled from a dream, or maybe a nightmare. I can't tell if I'm intrigued or unnerved, but there's a jolt in my chest, a mix of unease and a curiosity I can't shake. One of them steps forward, his movements deliberate, almost graceful. I feel the air shift as he nears, and then his fingers brush against my neck, slow and intentional, tracing a line that sends a shiver cascading down my spine. My breath hitches, caught between pulling away and leaning into the sensation. Another moves behind me, close enough that I can feel the heat of him, his hand grazing my lower back with a touch that's both gentle and possessive. My mind reels, expecting fear to flood through me, but it doesn't. Instead, there's something else, something raw and primal stirring deep within, a heat I haven't felt in years. It's as if my body is waking up, responding to a call I didn't know I could hear. I glance toward Thomas, seeking some kind of anchor, and find him settled into a large, worn armchair in the corner of the room. His face is unreadable, shadowed by the dim light, but his eyes are locked on me, intense and unwavering. He leans back, one hand resting casually on the armrest, and his voice cuts through the silence, soft but steady, carrying a weight that pins me in place. "You can do anything, Isabel. I'll just watch." His words hit me like a wave, crashing over everything I thought I knew. Suddenly, those cryptic looks, the distance in his gaze over the past weeks, all of it clicks into place. This is what he meant when he said he wanted to see me in a new light. This is the surprise, the storm brewing beneath his calm exterior. My mind spins, torn between shock and a forbidden thrill that I can't deny. I've always been loyal to Thomas, bound by the promises we made all those years ago, by the life we've built together. But standing here, surrounded by these strangers, their presence like a current pulling me under, I feel something I never expected. A hunger, a need to explore this edge I've never dared to approach. My heart thunders in my chest as the man in front of me lets his touch linger, his fingers now tracing the curve of my shoulder, while the one behind me steps closer, his breath warm against my neck, sending a ripple of heat through me that I can't ignore. I'm standing in the middle of this ancient room, the air thick with tension, and every nerve in my body feels like it's on fire. The rough texture of the old rug beneath my bare feet grounds me, its coarse fibers scratching against my soles as I shift my weight, trying to steady myself. The candlelight flickers wildly now, casting golden hues across the faces of the men around me. It highlights their sharp jawlines, the intensity in their gazes, like they're studying every inch of me, waiting for something I'm not sure I'm ready to give. Their eyes seem to pierce through the dimness, hungry and unyielding, and I can hear the faint sound of my own uneven breathing, ragged in the stillness, betraying the storm inside me. My mind is a whirlwind, racing with thoughts I can't pin down. Thomas's words echo in my head, his permission, his quiet assurance that I can do anything while he watches. I steal another glance at him, still seated in that worn armchair in the corner, his posture so still it's almost unnerving. Yet, there's a comfort in his presence, a silent strength that tells me he's here, even if I don't fully understand why. His face remains a mask, unreadable in the shifting shadows, but his eyes, those hazel eyes I've known for nearly 2 decades, are locked on me with an intensity that makes my chest tighten. Is it desire I see there? Curiosity? Or something darker? Something I can't name? I search for a flicker of doubt, a hint of anger, anything to tell me I should stop. But there's nothing, just that piercing stare, holding me in place as much as the hands now touching me. Those hands, some gentle, some firm, move across my skin like they're mapping out uncharted territory. One traces a slow, deliberate pattern along my arm, sending shivers racing down my spine. Another rests at the small of my back, the pressure steady, grounding, yet laced with a possessiveness that makes my breath catch. I can feel the warmth of their breaths against my ear, hot and intimate, as they murmur words too soft to make out, their voices blending into a low hum that vibrates through me. It's overwhelming, this sensation of being surrounded, of being wanted in a way that's both foreign and intoxicating. My skin prickles under their touch, every nerve alight, and I'm caught in this strange dance between hesitation and a growing, undeniable pull. I've spent years with Thomas, building a life of quiet moments and familiar routines, but this is something else entirely. It's as if a part of me, long buried under the weight of time and responsibility, is clawing its way to the surface. I feel a surge of power, raw and electric, coursing through me. To be desired like this, to be the center of such focused attention, it's a rush I haven't known in ages. It's like stepping back into that younger, bolder version of myself, the one who thrived on the edge of the unknown. My heart pounds against my ribs, a frantic rhythm that matches the flickering of the candles, and I realize I'm trembling, not from fear, but from the sheer intensity of it all. The room itself seems to close in, the walls of ancient wood creaking softly as if they're whispering secrets of their own. The scent of melted wax hangs heavy, mingling with the faint musk of the men around me, creating a heady mix that clouds my senses. Shadows play across the ceiling, twisting and turning like specters, mirroring the chaos in my mind. I can feel the weight of every gaze, not just from the men encircling me, but from Thomas, whose silent observation feels like a tether, pulling me back even as I'm drawn forward. My fingers twitch at my sides, unsure whether to reach out or pull away, and I'm hyper-aware of every small movement, every brush of fabric against skin. And then, something shifts inside me. A decision, unspoken but resolute, takes hold. I let go of the hesitation that's been clawing at the edges of my mind, releasing the weight of doubt that's been holding me back. I'm standing in the center of this dimly lit room, the candlelight casting a warm, golden haze over everything, and I surrender completely to the moment. The air feels thicker now, charged with an energy I can't name, as I let myself be carried away by the tide of sensation. The hands on me, multiple, insistent, yet careful in their exploration, feel like a storm breaking over my skin. Their touch is a heavy weight, grounding me even as it sets every nerve ablaze. The heat of their closeness, skin brushing against skin, is almost suffocating, a warmth that seeps into my very bones. It's as if time itself has slipped away, melting into a blur where seconds and minutes lose all meaning. I'm caught in this forbidden dance, losing myself to the rhythm of it, to the raw, unspoken pull that's taken over. The old rug beneath me scratches at my knees, its rough texture a sharp contrast to the softer, more intimate sensations enveloping me. Each fiber seems to dig into my skin, a reminder of where I am, anchoring me to this ancient, shadowy space, even as my mind drifts further from reality. The air grows dense with the mingled breaths of those around me, a heavy, almost tangible presence that presses against my chest. I feel utterly exposed, laid bare in a way I've never been before. Yet there's a strange invincibility in it too. It's as if shedding every layer of restraint has made me untouchable, a force of my own in this charged, electric moment. My heart races, pounding so hard I'm sure it must echo through the room, but no one seems to notice. Or maybe they do, and it only fuels the intensity of their focus. Conflicting emotions churn inside me like a tempest. There's a sharp pang of guilt, a whisper in the back of my mind reminding me of the vows I made to Thomas, of the life we've woven together over nearly 2 decades. It stabs at me, cold and accusing, but it's drowned out by the exhilaration coursing through my veins. This newfound freedom, this breaking of invisible chains I didn't even know I was wearing, is intoxicating. It's a rush of adrenaline, a taste of something wild and untamed that I've craved without realizing it. And then, amidst the whirlwind, there's a strange, unexpected sense of connection. My eyes dart across the room, finding Thomas still seated in that worn armchair, his gaze fixed on me. He doesn't move, doesn't speak, just watches with an intensity that's almost reverent. It's not judgment I see in his hazel eyes, not anger or betrayal, but something deeper, something that ties us together even in this uncharted territory. It's a look that seems to say he sees me, truly sees me, in a way I haven't felt in years. When it's over, I'm left breathless, my body trembling as if I've run a marathon through a storm. The men step back, their silhouettes blending into the shadows once more, becoming indistinct shapes against the flickering candlelight. My chest heaves as I try to catch my breath, the cool air of the room a stark contrast to the heat still lingering on my skin. I feel raw, vulnerable, yet strangely whole, as if I've reclaimed a piece of myself I'd long forgotten. My knees still bear the imprint of the rough rug, a faint ache that grounds me as I struggle to steady myself. The silence that follows is heavy, broken only by the soft crackle of the candles and the distant creak of the ancient wooden walls. I'm hyper-aware of every small sound, every shift in the air, as if my senses have been heightened to an almost unbearable degree. Then I see Thomas rise from the armchair, his movements slow and deliberate, each step measured as he crosses the room toward me. My heart skips a beat, uncertainty flickering through me for the first time since I let go. What does he think now that it's done? What does this mean for us? He stops just in front of me, close enough that I can feel the warmth of him, and he takes my hand in his. His touch is gentle as he lifts my hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss against my knuckles. It's a gesture so familiar, so tender, that it almost unravels me right there in the dim, flickering light of that ancient room. My breath catches, and for a moment, the world narrows to just the two of us, the weight of what just happened hanging heavy in the air. I search his face for answers, for any sign of regret or doubt, but there's none. Instead, there's a quiet strength, a certainty in his hazel eyes that steadies me, even as my legs still tremble beneath me. He doesn't say a word, just holds my gaze. And in that silence, I feel something shift between us. A new understanding. A bridge built over a chasm I didn't even know existed until tonight. The drive home is a blur. The city lights streaking past like distant stars. My mind too tangled to make sense of the journey. I'm still wrapped in the echoes of sensation. The memory of hands and whispers clinging to my skin like a second shadow. When we finally step through the door of our familiar suburban home, the quiet feels almost suffocating after the intensity of that shadowed place. The ivy on the brick walls outside seems to watch us as we move through the house, and I collapse into bed, exhaustion pulling me under before I can even process the weight of the night. Sleep comes in waves, restless and fragmented, filled with fleeting images of candlelight and dark silhouettes that dance behind my closed eyes. The next morning, I wake to the soft, muted light of dawn creeping through the curtains of our bedroom. For a moment, I lie there, tangled in the sheets, the familiar scent of our home grounding me. It's the same bed I've woken up in for years, the same worn quilt draped over me, the same faint creak of the floorboards as the house settles. But something feels different, like the air itself holds a memory of last night. I blink against the light, my mind sluggish, and for a fleeting second, I wonder if it was all just a vivid, fevered dream. The kind of dream that leaves you breathless, unsure of where reality ends and fantasy begins. I shift under the covers, and that's when I feel it. A dull, lingering ache in my muscles, a quiet reminder that cuts through the haze. My body remembers, even if my mind is still catching up. It wasn't a dream. It happened. Every touch, every moment of surrender, every unspoken boundary we crossed, it was real. I sit up slowly, the ache settling deeper as I move, and I catch the faint aroma of coffee drifting up from the kitchen. It's such a mundane, everyday scent, so starkly ordinary, compared to the heady mix of wax and tension that filled my senses last night. I swing my legs over the side of the bed, my bare feet brushing against the cool hardwood floor, and I take a deep breath, trying to anchor myself in this moment. The sunlight streams through the curtains, casting golden patterns across the room, illuminating the familiar clutter of our life. Thomas's watch on the nightstand, a stack of books I've been meaning to read, A framed photo of us from years ago, smiling on some forgotten beach. It's all so normal, so untouched by what transpired, and yet I feel like a stranger in my own skin, caught between the woman I was yesterday and whoever I'm becoming now. I pull on a robe, the soft fabric a comfort against the lingering sensitivity of my skin, and make my way downstairs. Each step feels deliberate, as if I'm testing the ground beneath me, unsure of what I'll find when I reach the kitchen. Thomas is already there, sitting at our worn oak table, a mug of coffee in his hands. He looks up as I enter, and there's a calmness to him, an ease in the way he sits that feels almost surreal after everything. His hair is slightly mussed from sleep, his shirt unbuttoned at the collar, and he looks like the same man I've shared countless mornings with. But when his eyes meet mine, there's something new there. A spark. A quiet satisfaction that glints beneath the surface. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.